Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's will be a review for an RTA that I've been waiting for quite a while now. It's going to be of course a new Intake MTL RTA from Augvape and Vapes. I've got the dual RTA and I've got the Intake sub-ohm tank as well. I've been waiting for this one for, like I said, for quite a while. It should have been out earlier this year, but due to all the world events it got delayed slightly, but it's finally here. It's going to be a single coil RTA, obviously, top airflow like all the intakes are. My one's going to be one of the first batch in the UK. There's going to be some slight differences in my packaging. My O-rings are going to be clear. On the tank, my O-rings are going to be clear. Also in the instruction booklet, it doesn't tell you there about the airflow sizes. Like I said, mine's going to be part of the first batch. The second batch will come with black O-rings. And then the instructions will tell you about the airflow sizes. I will tell you myself, you're up close. So yeah, let's go down, have a look around the box, for the build, come back up top, and we'll talk about it. I'll see you in a minute. So yet again in this review, I'm going to put a glove on this hand to hide my burn. 1 second. And here we are, one glove, one normal hand. So here are the box for the Intake MTL RTA. It says Augvape, Vapes, picture of the device itself, usual nicotine warning. The back, a few details there to read. Gonna slide this out. Inside's gonna be a white box. It says Augvape. There's no cutouts on this one, you've got to shake the box. Inside the box, I'm going to get a little card. It's going to be a little warranty policy card. Little user manual. Little baggie. Some spare O-rings. Some spare glove screws. Got the airflow inserts here. And going to have some coils. In my package here, my little O-rings here are going to be the clear ones. I do know that this is going to be the first batch in the UK. The second batch, these will be black O-rings, and again on the tank here, this will be a black O-ring. This is the first batch that hit the UK. So yeah, inside here with some airflow inserts, which I'll show you in a minute. Gonna get a spare bubble glass. With a bubble glass, it will hold 4.6 mils of e-liquid. With a straight glass already installed, it will hold 3.1 mils, I do believe. Put this out of the box. If you've already used any of the Intake devices, you'll see it's very similar. I've got the Intake sub-ohm tank here, and I've also got the Intake dual one. I've got the single one, but yeah, very similar design and all range. On top of this one will be a 510 drip tip. It's going to be a slight tight bore. You can always change it to make it more tight bore you want it to. This one's been quite nice for me. It's got a top fill. It's going to be like a third of a turn, and it pops off. Inside here would be a nice grommet there to make a seal. Two nice filling ports. Like I said, it's about a third of a turn and it locks in place. So the airflow is coming from the top like all of the intakes. There's two styles of airflow. You've either a single hole or multiple holes. These holes will be a 1mm, 1.2, 1.4, 1.6 or 1.8. So this side you can open one at a time. You can go around here to this side, you can spin it around, you can open one at a time, or two, or three, and so on and so on. This ring will pop off. You can see here, there's big cyclops there for that side, with one small hole there for your small holes. The airflow inserts under the coil do correspond with these air holes. So the airflow is going to be a 1mm airflow adapter, a 1.2, 1.4, 1.6, and a 1.8. Pre-installed is going to be the 1.4 under the coil. I've been using it all the time as a 1.4. I've been enjoying it. On the bottom here will be obviously Vapes, CE mark, those would have been Augvape, and serial number on mine is going to be 57. So yeah, mine's going to be a low batch, like I said. For this one here in the UK, the first batch they sent them out with clear O-rings. Second batch will be black O-rings. It's a very similar design to the first single coil RTA, which I never had. Got the two tubes here for your airflow. these will fall into place at the top, so your airflow comes down, comes through these, goes down the tubes, up and under the coil. See, like I said, under the coil here will be the 1.4mm adapter. Just unscrew these and screw in the other ones. I'll show you the other ones quickly. See, like I said, you get 4 more inside a bag. So go 1mm, 1.2, 1.4 already installed, 1.6 and 1.8. You can run this without any airflow insert inside it. If you don't put an insert inside the base here, it will be a 3.7mm air hole. That's going to be more for your restricted direct along. You can see here on the post there, it does say lock this way. What they've done is with these post screws, they are going to be reverse threaded. So to undo it, you turn it the opposite way to normal. They've done it this way, so when you've got your coil inside here and you're screwing it down, it doesn't distort the coil and pull the wire slightly. So yeah, this one you need to remember that these screws are both reverse threaded when you put your coil in. When you put the coil in here, give it a little ledge here, or lip, shall I say, to help keep the wire in place. Nice and simple, nice and easy. We're going to put the coil in place here, put the cotton down through the wicking ports, and have a little bit draping down. It's going to be a GTA style deck, obviously. Nice and simple. Like I said, these two airflow tubes, when you screw it together, they will fall into place. That top part here on the inside, it does spin around. So as it falls into place, that will hold it in place. Pop off this glass. I'm on the chamber, it does say Intake MTL. You can see inside here, it's not going to be domed, obviously. It's not domed because of these tubes. It's not going to be a really compact chamber either. That will affect the flavour slightly, but not too much. I'll talk a bit more about that later on. But yeah, it's not going to be really condensed chamber. Because it's going to be 24mm in diameter. I think I said that. And the height wise will be, let me check my charts. Yeah, the height of this one will be 54mm with a drip tip and 39mm without the drip tip. Like I said, it's going to be 24mm RTA. So that chamber isn't small. It is giving a good flavour. But I'll talk more about the flavour after this build. What I'm going to do first, I'm going to put a quick build in here. Now normally I use Vape coils as always. This time I'm using Vape wire. I've got some 26 gauge camphor wire here. What I've done is I've done a 2.5 inner diameter coil. Done 9 wraps. This will give me roughly between 1 and 1.1 ohm. This is going to be slightly spaced coil, this one. So yeah, this is going to be Vape wire, camphor wire, 26 gauge. So yeah, with these posts, like I said, it's reverse threaded. So you need to go the opposite way to open them. It's going to be awkward again with my gloves. It is a good idea, but it takes a while to get used to it. When you first start doing this, you're going to try and turn these screws the opposite way and find it's not opening. You have to remember that it's going to be reverse threaded. I'm going to put the coil inside quickly. Like I said, with these gloves, it's not really easy. Once I've got one leg inside, I'll put my rod inside and pull it over slightly. Then just do the other screw. That's going to be it for me. Pull it over. Check the height. That's about the right height for me. You can lower it down a bit more. You can make it high if you wanted to. The more high you have it, the more harsher throw you get. The lower down, I find it's more smoother. Really hate wearing this glove, I must say. Yeah, that's going to be it there. Like I said, there's going to be a little lip to help your wire stay in place when you're screwing it down. Give it a quick clip. There's a bit of leeway by about 1mm, but try to get it as close as possible. Let's check the ohms. I'm looking for between about a 1 and a 1.1. Got 1.06, that's about right for me. It is a space coil, but I will dry fire it a few times. That's glowing nicely. Let it cool down. That should be cold enough now. What I've been doing my cotton, I've been cutting it more or less to the edge of the base itself. Get my scissors sharpened. A little bit of a fluff up. What I then like to do in mine is I like to cut mine at a slight angle on both sides, give it a slight V shape. Just like that. Go camera. Like that. Because I like to have that little tip going down to the base, but not too much cotton. Don't need a lot of cotton going through these wicking holes, just a little bit. Just on both sides like that. The juice today will be my Viper juice. It's going to be my butterscotch custard. I'm going to be using my straight glass for a reason. I'll use this one on my Aspire mix. If I use a bubble glass, it won't fit. So you screw it down, it will fall into place. Those two rods will fall into those holes, and then you screw it all the way. Take it off this device. Should never screw it down on a ATI stand. Screw it all into place, and then just fill it up. Top cap, like I said, it's about a third of a turn, it locks into place. I'm going to talk about the airflow quickly. When you've got the airflow inserts at the coil, like I've got the 1.4 in here now, where you use a single hole, it's going to be effective in the 1mm size, the 1.2, the 1.4. The 1.4 will correspond to the airflow under the coil. If you go to like the 1.6 and the 1.8, you won't really feel much of a difference. That airflow underneath the coil is restricting it really well. If you want to play around, you should change that one underneath to maybe a 1.6 and a 1.8. So the 1.6, you can again play around from 1.6 and downwards. As you go down, it will restrict it. But like I say, if you got 1.4, you go to 1.8 on the outside, you won't really feel much of a difference. So the airflow is working really well with this one. Like I said, this side here, turn it around, have these all open. These are for your more slightly restricted direct to lung. If you're going to use it that way, I recommend not using the airflow insert under the coil. Leave it open, which is going to be the 3.7mm size, or maybe you put a 1.8 in there. You can reduce it slightly this way. But for mouth to lung, I've been using this one, the 1.4 here, and 1.4 on the top. That's been giving you a really good mouth to lung vape. I've been enjoying this one for the mouth to lung. I've not really tried it too much for restricted direct to lung. Drip tip. This is reading that one at 1 ohm exactly. Going to go up to 14 watts with this one. Got there in the end. So yeah, 14 watts, 1 ohm coil. I'll quick vape. Yeah, it's going to be my quick look around the Intake MTL RTA from Augvape and Vapes. Let's go up top. Have a quick talk about this one. So yeah, there we are guys. That was a quick look around the Intake MTL RTA from Vapes and Augvape. Like I said in the beginning, I've been waiting for this one for quite a while. It did get delayed because of all the recent world events obviously, but it's here now. Again, like I said, my one's going to be part of the first batch in the UK. So mine's going to be slightly different than maybe what one you will get later on. The O-rings will be black and like I said in the instruction booklet there, it will have your airflow sizes. On my version it doesn't, because it's going to be a low serial number this one. I think it's 57. So yeah, it's a really early part of the first run. This is that same building here. It's going to be the 1-on-1. It's going to be open to 1.4mm air hole on the top, and the airflow under the coil is that same insert, the 1.4mm. Have a quick vape. Really, really nice flavour. Just close there. Sorry about wearing a glove, but as you know, I burnt my hand. Don't want to show this too much on the camera. Gonna go over the fit finish first with this one. At the end of the day, it's an intake. If you've already got one of the intakes in the range, you'll know about the build quality. It's a real solid RTA. It's got a nice weight to it as well. It's going to be top fill like they all are, and top airflow again like they all are. It really does work well. It makes it really hard to flood this one. To flood this one, I don't know, you have to upside down for about an hour. But yeah, really nice and leak resistant. That build deck is very reminiscent of the first RTA, the single coil one with the air tubes going up. I'm going to go over a few good points about that and a few bad points. That airflow control, good wise, is working really, really well. It's a nice smooth airflow coming from the top, down those tubes and then under the coil. A bad point will be, obviously though, that those tubes are making that chamber slightly big. It's not quite as condensed as some mouth-to-lung RTAs, but that's because of the design. They couldn't do anything different. We kept those two tubes going into the air hole, so they couldn't really change the chamber size. It doesn't affect the flavour too much, but I think it could have been a bit more flavourful with a more condensed and maybe a domed chamber. But like I said, the way it's been designed, that was not possible. It's going to be 24mm RTA, which is good, a nice size, and it holds a good amount of liquid. Like I said, in the straight glass, it's about 3.1 mils for mouth-to-lung RTA. That's fine. The bubble glass is available because I want to use this in my mix from Aspire. I've got to use a straight glass. Not a bad thing. Another good thing will be, obviously, the build deck. Really simple. You need to remember that those post screws are reverse threaded. They've done that so that when you're screwing your coil into place, it doesn't distort it and pull it out of place. I personally don't really think it's anything needed, but people might find it easier to build that way. So you need to remember that when you are putting your coil in, turn the screws opposite way to normal to open it, and again opposite way to tighten it down. The airflow control under the coil with those 5 inserts, you've got the 1mm, 1.2, 1.4, 1.6 and 1.8. They all match up to the airflow on the top, and like I said, you've got 1.4mm insert under the coil. When you open it at the top, if you go to like 1.6 or 1.8, you won't really notice a difference. If you want to play around, you need to change the airflow under the coil to a bigger one, and you can go down. You go down from say 1.6 downwards, you will feel the difference. When you go up, you won't really feel the difference. That means that the airflow is working, and it's working well. As a mouth to lung, I've been finding this really good. I've not tried a 1mm air hole. That's too tight for me. I did try a little while, but I haven't vaped that way because 1mm is too tight for me. I like a slightly loose mouth to lung. The 1.2 and the 1.4 is my sweet spot. 1.4 in this one right now, like I said, really, really good. 1.6 is really going to be a loose mouth to lung, and the 1.8 is going to be an almost restricted rectal lung. You can, like I said, take the airflow control out from under the coil totally, leave it open. That will be a 3.7mm air hole under the coil. That way you can then use the top airflow. We have more than one hole open at a time. With that way, you will be able to get a direct to lung. It will be restricted. This is more designed for mouth to lung, like I said on the box. I think for the flavour, score-wise, I'm going to give this between a 7 and 7.5. It could have been an 8 or 8.5 if that chamber had been more condensed inside there. But like I said, the way it's been designed with those airflow tubes, there wasn't much they could do with the chamber. It is slightly open, that chamber, and that will affect the flavour just slightly. It's not going to be a bad flavour. It could have been just slightly better, but like I said, it's going by the design of it. and what they've done is really good. Guys and girls, hope you like the video. Do like the video, why not give me a thumbs up? Dislike it, of course, give me a thumbs down. And yeah, I will see you all on the next one.